Okay, hi everyone. My name is Matt Gonsalves, as Chris said. I work for a company called Foremost Financial, and we specialize in small infill construction financing. Have many great clients in the audience, so I'm happy to be here with such great people with a lot of knowledge and expertise. So I'm just going to for my talk today, I'm going to explain who Foremost is, what we do. I'll go through some of our recent projects that we finance that kind of fit the missing middle criteria. I'll go through a couple case studies of recently financed projects, the equity required, what Foremost is financing, and then the IRR. And then I'll go through some key financing considerations, pitfalls everyone goes through, just kind of let you guys know what to watch out for and how best to maximize your return on investment. So at Foremost, we have a couple goals. One is to kind of improve your probability of success. We want to maximize your IRR, minimize stress, and do the best we can for you. So we've been around since '87. We have a long track record, hundreds of clients, thousands of projects. So we kind of do this at scale, and we kind of like the small infill niche. So that's who the company are, and kind of give you kind of context of what we do. So this first project, I know we kind of focused kind of more urban infill core at this conference so far, but this project's in Bowmanville, Ontario, kind of off the main strip. So our clients purchased two duplexes, kind of 4 units total that were historical, and they were kind of stacked one on top of the other. They did a renovation of these duplexes. They're probably about 100 years old, and this was done under Bowmanville's ADU policy. So these are the first additional dwelling units built in Durham region. So in total, there is 6 units, and where that pine tree is on the right, they're going to add a triplex to it. So we took out their existing financing with the loan they used to purchase the property. We financed 100% of the hard construction costs for this project, gave them some money for soft costs, and then on the right, when they build a triplex by that pine tree, we're going to finance 100% of that, the hard construction cost for the triplex, and then they're going to go for CMHC refinancing for all 9 units once it's built, and then in Bowmanville, I think some of the garden homes rented for $2,800 a month, and then the duplexes $2,600 a month. Right near the Bowmanville strip, there's parking. They did quite well in the project, and the MLI Select they'll be able to take out equity once it's complete. So our clients did quite well in that one. This is also in Bowmanville. So we financed the purchase of an existing duplex. They renovated the triplex, built a garden suite in the rear backyard. Again, rented for a pretty good price. This is actually in Kitchener, Ontario. So again, this was approved before the new multiplex bylaw was introduced in Kitchener. Originally, the 2 ADUs were built in the zoning code as offices, and then eventually they were legalized into additional dwelling units. Both the main houses are duplexes, so there are 6 units total. We financed this under the old regime. They were able to get this refinanced with a CMHC insured loan, and they took $1 million of equity out when they went for their CMHC insured financing. So our clients did quite well in this. I think they were a bit constrained with what the city of Kitchener would allow them to kind of build. So I think they probably would have built kind of a 2 semi-detached home. So it was a 60-foot lot. It had multifamily zoning, which kind of enabled them to get this project approved under the old zoning rules, and built the 2 lots, and they did quite well in this as well. And they retained the property for some income and get a lot of equity out for their next project. This project is kind of quite famous on Twitter right now. We financed the purchase of this property probably in 2020, just after COVID. Our client was originally going to do a 5-unit project, so 4 in the main house, 1 in the garden house, and he opted to do a 4-unit project. And one of the units is kind of roughed in for a 5th unit if they wanted to kind of to turn one of the units into a duplex, they can. And so far, 2 units have sold firm, 1 unit has sold conditionally, so 3 of the 4 units have sold. And I think a lot of appraisers will be using this project as a comparable for future kind of small condo projects. So this is kind of just off the Danforth on Mortimer. Happy to work with our client on that one. This is a project off of Brown's Line in Etobicoke. Our client bought a mixed-use building on a 50-foot lot. Unfortunately, they had to go through site plan approval, even though there's about 6 units of residential, 1 unit commercial, 2 apartments, and 4 residential townhomes, 1 commercial unit. So our client, again, had to go through a bunch of hoops to jump through for site plan approval, lots of development charges. But in the future now, with this new, not having site plan approval for 9 units and below, if this were to be built today, it'd be a lot easier. So we financed, we discharged his existing financing when we went on there. We financed 100% of the hard costs, paid development charges, parkland dedication, and we had an interest reserve, so he didn't have to pay interest out of pocket during construction. So that's progressing well. There's actually also underground parking, so it's a steel structure, and they're doing underground parking underneath it, even though it's just a 50-foot lot. And then they're working on phase 2 to the right. They're actually going to build another, I think, 4-unit apartment building that will share some of the underground parking amenities with it. So yeah, we've got CMHC takeout on the left building. We'll do the construction financing on the right. Shared underground parking. It's a steel structure, very solidly made. But I guess, again, I'd caution underground parking, extremely expensive. Steel is expensive versus wood. So not for the faint of heart to take on something like this, but they had a really great construction manager, a really great team behind it. It's quite expensive, but the units are beautiful. The steel allows nice big windows, and it's kind of a well-done project, so it's worth it in that case. Again, this is on Vaughan Road. We financed the construction of 6 townhomes. It's a rental project. One of the townhomes is a duplex, 5 kind of single townhomes. Again, our client had to go through, I think, 3 years of site plan approval for this project. A huge pain, but I guess under the new rules, no site plan approval. Hopefully he'll be able to get, hopefully a similar project in the future will be able to get approved much faster than having to take 3 years of site plan approval, having to fight the city and neighbors for the approval. So our client got this done. We financed 100% of the hard costs, provided funds for development charges, letters of credit owing to the city, to really kind of help him with his IRR. He leased all 6 units up, refinanced with an institution, paid us out, and now we're considering new projects. So again, I get this question quite often. So how do we consider who to back, what loans to do? So we have 3 kind of key criteria, and the loans we approve or the loans we reject. Number 1, the project specifics. Does this project make sense? If it's a 20,000 square foot house in the middle of nowhere in Stouffville, Uxbridge, we'll say no, because there's no kind of comparable sales. But if we kind of understand the project, if it's a marketable, kind of sane project with a good exit strategy, well, that'll check that box. Again, your ability to execute. So is number 3 is, you don't necessarily have to be the construction manager yourself, but have you hired a competent construction manager? And who else is a kind of a part of your team? Your architect, interior designer, if you have one, your past projects we look at. And number 3, I guess, financial strength. So if there's a cost overrun or a project delay, do you have the money to kind of overcome some of those costs? We do kind of work with our clients on occasion to help them overcome cost overruns. So kind of a project by project basis. There's no blanket approach, because every single project's different, every single team is different, everyone has different circumstances. So we kind of take a holistic approach to it, and we're happy to back great, strong builders. Very proud to kind of work with a lot of people. I guess for 11 years ago when I started at Foremost, we were kind of financing Evan Saskin at Blue Lions, his kind of initial projects, and they've done quite well, and kind of see it from there. And kind of, it's been great to see our kind of business grow and change, and work with some really high quality, great builders, helping to solve our housing crisis. So it's tough on the land side to say exactly what we would finance. So typically, if you're buying a lot in the city of Toronto to build a multiplex, we're quite confident we could finance between 65 to 70% of the purchase price. And so if you're going to have to go through a minor variance and you're not exactly sure what you're going to build, we're happy to kind of finance the purchase of the lot. And then once you get your building permit in hand and you know exactly what you'll build, then we'll have an appraiser come through, value the property, and we'll set up the construction loan accordingly. So we have the land loan, we have the construction loan to take out the land loan and kind of fund construction and some of the soft costs. But we want to make sure when we're doing a land loan, we want to make sure the exit strategy makes sense. So, and part of when we underwrite a land loan to purchase a property, we want to make sure, okay, when they're ready for construction, are we willing to work with this team on financing the project? So we kind of ask kind of questions, kind of do a pro forma, like, okay, if you get approval for the 5+1, what's that going to look like? Is there enough money to kind of take us out to kind of protect everybody? And the main thing is, okay, for this land loan, how would you service the interest payments? If you can't service interest payments, we'll include an interest reserve in the loan facility to kind of back the project while it gets approved. But if you are going to build as of right, and if you're going to build as of right, you know exactly what you'll build and the plans won't change, we could do kind of all in one. So it'd be a construction loan, first advance to purchase the property, then subsequent funds to finance the construction as needed. So I have kind of 2 case studies I prepared. And these are projects that we've kind of financed in the last 3 or 4 months. So we have a client that purchased a 20-foot lot on a major street in Toronto. And as of right, they got approval for 1 commercial unit and 5 residential units. One of the 5 units is a live-work unit. And their exit strategy is CMHC takeout. So their cost to build was about $366 per square foot. So we financed the purchase of the land. We financed most of the hard costs. They had to fund the first $95,000 of hard costs. We funded the remaining $2,045,000. We provided an interest reserve of $180,000, so they didn't have to pay interest out of pocket during construction. So when you look at it, the project would cost about $3.5 million to build. We gave $2.6 million, so we're funding about 75% of the costs. They're funding 25% of the costs. So $3.5 million is the cost. Our appraiser thinks it would sell for $4.1 million if it was sold once complete, $874 a square foot. They kind of looked at the direct comparison approach and the income approach to value the property, so 2 ways. Projected profit, $587,000, a return on equity of 66%. So it's pretty good. We're backing this team on a number of projects, so they're doing quite well in this. The second one is, this one's kind of done for resale. So our client purchased a lot, 25 by 104. He's getting building permits for 5 residential units, 4 in the main house, 1 in the laneway, and then he's going to roll all 5 units with carry-on. He's going to register the project as a condo once complete. And the key thing is, I kind of like having 2 kind of exit strategies. So with the 5 units, yes, great, it'll work as a condo, but also worst case, if the market turns and the condo is no longer viable, he could actually get tenants for all 5 units, refinance with a CMHC insured loan, and we would get out at the end of the day. So I kind of like the 2, have a really good, strong contingency plan if the condo sales don't work out for whatever reason. So we have confidence that this individual will be able, he's registered condos in the past, so we have confidence he'll be able to register no problem. Again, the project cost about $3.2 million. We provided a land loan or a construction loan, $2.5 million. So he's doing 23% of the cost. We're doing 77% of the cost. The loan to value is 67%, which we're very comfortable with. He's building it himself, so he's not really hiring a construction manager. So $300 a square foot. I guess on the lower end, especially when you're doing nice finishes, multiple units, but he's a really good builder. He's worked with us on many projects in the past, so he's probably able to build this a lot cheaper than other builders are able to at $3 or $4 a square foot. Again, our appraiser thinks it'll sell for $4.1 million as of complete. I think maybe a little bit higher than that too. They might have been a bit conservative because they use the income approach of the rentals, direct comparison, and condo. So as a condo, it might even go for more than that. It's a good area. Very good builder. So again, we're projecting a profit at $870,000, 118% return on equity. So yeah, they're doing quite well there. So I guess if you're kind of approaching a project for the first time and you're kind of wondering what the pitfalls to avoid are, number 1, construction lien holdback on a massive condominium. So in Ontario, you have to hold 10% of your budget back for construction liens. On a small project, they're not released till the end, so 61 days after completion. Gotta make sure adequate insurance. If there's a shortfall between your budget and the construction loan, we lend on a cost to complete basis, so you'd have to bring that up ahead of time. Like you have to make the equity requirement first. So you put in your money, and the construction loan would kind of fund the rest. That's a cost to complete basis. And there's key questions to ask your lenders. So it's important you do your homework. It's important you kind of work with the right lenders and kind of see who you're working with. So I encourage everyone, if you're considering a project, looking at financing, come to Foremost Financial. We're happy to give you a quote. and you can look at your other options after that, kind of on an apples to apples comparison. So cost consultant, how much a cost consultant will cost. Some people do it in-house. Sometimes you have to hire an external one. That's quite expensive. And we'll kind of show you. We're very transparent with our fees. You'll kind of see everything from the first draw to the end. I'll kind of give you a roadmap of how much money you can expect, how much fees you're paying, and the timing of advances. So it's kind of important to kind of look at who you're doing business with, who you're lending money, who you're borrowing money from, and the process. After that, if you have any questions, happy to discuss during the panel, and hopefully we could discuss and do a lot of deals together.